Alright, welcome back to The Shy Hero and the Assassin Princesses. Anime Review, episode number 9. Like in the case of Don and Scoot Esque Adventure, this one also has 3 more to go, and then we're done. Yep, this one is basically The Shy Hero and Wrestling on the Water. Yep, so we have our team arrive in the fishing village, where, they, we take this town, they arrive, go to the Adventures Guild, see basically a quest. And apparently, no building. It's just basically a small shack on the shoreline, and quest board over here. I'm like, that's it? I'm like, either they just didn't care of putting a building there. So, apparently, the only thing they can win is a towel. A commemorative towel. I'm like, that's a lame prize. A towel. I would throw in some money in there, or probably some more good prize. Maybe, I don't know, a weapon. But a freaking towel? So then, of course, basically our group, like the ladies, decide to put on some swimsuits. Which next Tao unconsciously sees them and like, damn. And he shows the fact that Gao is she is drop dead gorgeous. Oh my gosh. And then we have this B-rank adventurer show up named Farrier and his knight, who refers to him as Sir. Who this person, what this person is, it's not revealed until just before the credits roll. Is he a person? Well, you find out later on. So then, of course, he's going ooh, I want you to join my party because you're drop dead gorgeous. Oh, I'm already in the party. And ooh, let's do the water competition. So, let's have her go as a prize. And all he's going to participate is this is kind of hilarious. It's screw the towel, I want her because she's hot. Yeah, this is hilarious. So, me. Then, of course, basically, they had the competition. So, you have Amon versus basically, I think it was I'm trying to think, what was it? Oh, yeah, her opponent was basically some random guy who she actually was the fastest guy, and then she was defeated by tripping him. Cecile, of course, lost to Fenrir by disqualification due to using magic. In the case of Tato, he proceeded to, he had this really strong guy, and he just punched him. So apparently one of the wins knocks him in the water or break their watermelon. So Amon beats Tato by giving him a kiss on the cheek and him dropping his watermelon. So Tato is out. Cecile is out. Just Amon and Fenrir. Which of course she's able to have a really good fight with him. And then able to beat him. Well, Gal previously put her hand on her shoulder. And then he does this little multi-fist attack. Which somehow results in front of her swimsuit top getting shredded. So what's her response? Punch him right in the face! And of course she gets Gal as basically so traveling with her. Yeah, she did because basically he embarrassed her. So they're gonna just have sort of a duel. Then we have a background duel, and all of a sudden a giant squid shows up, which Tato beats really easily because, well, there's a big adventure. He can't beat the squid. And then it kind of joins at the party, and of course they have a feast. And then we have the knight talking to oh, you're Cecile, Dom Demon Lord's how did you know that? And he takes off his helmet to reveal he's a Duralan. And I saw this, I'm what? That's interesting. Yeah, the thing is, Duralans are not creatures I see in anime very much. It's a very rare occurrence. This is only the 4th anime I've come across we have a freaking Duralan. I mean, here are the 3 ones, basically, the first ones I could think of, that had these things. Konosuba Season 1. Yes, the first Demon Slayer General basically was one of these. There's also one from Monster Musume and Monster Go Doctor. So now we're on our 4th one. Interesting. Because the thing with Duralans is, I'm guessing that this is just basically just a pure guess on my part. I think the reason why that they don't use this particular creature very much because it's an Irish monster. Yes, it's a creature from Irish mythology, and that's the main reason why they very rarely use it. And plus, they're not exactly widely known as a creature. I mean, it's not as common as, let's say, an elf, a dwarf, kind of a dryad, a goblin, all the typical monsters you see fantasy anime, but a Duralan. Oh, and little fun fact about Musume, that is the only modern anime you actually see a Duralan show up. That I've seen anyways, the only one. Because the only place you can find those, or even slimes, are in fantasy worlds. Monster Musume is a weird series where, like, and this is kind of a weird thing with that one, where it's like the regular monsters that you see in fantasy anime are in the real world and living in some guy's house. Yeah, which of course the series never finished adapting the manga. I think the manga is still publishing, and they only did one season. I actually kind of like it. I had one person didn't like it because they thought it was kind of weird with like the half human, half creature thing. I mean, it's a series. Yeah, and then of course there's Monster Doctor, which had one. Now, in the case of the one in Monster Musume, that was an agent of the government liaison. In the case of the one in Monster Musume, I believe this is actually a monster popped up maybe once in the show. I think it was a knight. I think it was that basically was a Duralan, and of course the Konosuba one's very obvious. So, like, if anybody can think of any anime besides Monster Musume, Monster Doctor, Konosuba, and this one that has Duralan, and please feel free to let us in the comments below, because this is a monster, like I said, it's very rare I come across one of these ones. You know, it's also more rare? A vampire. Yes, having a vampire appear in these fantasy-based anime is also very rare. But aside from elves, dwarves, like, what other monster do I frequently see a lot of these anime? Dragons. Lots of dragons. Dragons are uber. People love dragons. Heck, the last anime I watched, I was binge watching, Slayers, had a dragon appear in the very first episode of the series. So, since it was a fantasy-based anime, I wasn't all that surprised to see a dragon there. But I kind of wish, basically, we would have like an elf or dwarf. Yeah. But the elves and dwarves are very common. They're very common, non-human creatures that pop up in these anime I've seen, because people know them better. Oh, and also demons. Demons also very popular too. But if you're really curious, like, is there any other type of monster, or at least basically someone who's not human, pop up in these anime aside from elves, dwarves, and demons? I would say slimes. Yes, slimes, and they're popular one. Slimes, dragons. I would say goblins. I'd say about a good chunk of them feature goblins. Yes, not all of them per se, but generally a lot of them feature goblins. Okay. There's some feature lizard men, which those ones not very. They're probably a bit more common in their lands. Yes. I'm only listing this up because, well, this is stuff off the top of my head. But generally put, if you watch fantasy-based series, you can expect these 5 monsters pop up in every single fantasy-based anime and come across. Elves, dwarves, dragons, and demons. These 4 are so common. Like in this show, we've already had a demon show up in the course of the episodes. There's also been, I think, a dragon appear once. Surprisingly, no elves. Not yet. Some series don't feature elves at all. Like, it's very rare to come across a fantasy-based series where we have no elves. Yeah. Surprisingly, Monster Musume doesn't have an elf. Yeah, I found that kind of interesting. But yeah, that's particularly it. Particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next thing to watch is going to be Ninja Jerk. Okay? Thank you. Bye.